with pride.
Ang bango-bango, ang bango-bango, ang bango ng detergent ko.
Sa pabanguhan ng detergent with Fabcon, ano nga bang mas gusto? Ayon sa research sa Metro Manila, halos 80% ng mga misis mas gusto ang bango ng Pride with Fabcon kaysa leading brand even after 24 hours. Dahil ang Pride may tuloy bango microbeads para sa bangong tuloy-tuloy buong araw.
Tuloy-tuloy bango.
Kaya misis, tuloy na sa Pride with Fabric Conditioner.
Tuloy-tuloy bango ng Pride with Fabcon ko.
Ituloy ang bango with Pride. Pride with Fabric Conditioner, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo. Maaasahang public service. DZXL 558.
Magandang gabi po mga katipon sa Pilipinas. Ito po ang ating katipunan, muling suma sa inyo mga tagapakinig upang magbigay ng mahalagang impormasyon, magbigay liwanag at higit sa lahat makinig sa inyong mga daing at kuro-kuro hinggil sa mga problemang patuloy na nagpapahirap sa ating kalagayan at kabuhayan. Sa susunod na oras, sisikapin po namin ipaliwanag ang iba-ibang bahagi ng ating ekonomiya at ang mga mabibigat pang local and international issues na may malaking epekto sa ating buhay at kinabukasan. Ito po ang inyong katipon na si Butch Valdez. Kasama ang iba nating katipon dito mula sa Save the Nation Movement at the Citizen National Guard. Narito po sina Harry Gonzalez, sila Adel Andayan, nandito din si Kathy at si Ver Archibido. Ang absent po ay ating si Engineer Lemmy Rojas. Kami po dito ay nag-aanyaya sa inyong na makibahagi sa ating talakayan sa pagsusuri ng mga kasalukuyang problema at paghanap ng kaukulang solusyon.
Hi, good evening. Butch Harry Gonzalez here. I'd like to greet friends of mine, friends of ours rather, si Alray Galang of San Miguel Packaging Products previously, my former colleagues there in that company. I'd like to greet also someone I haven't seen for some time, Master Chief Romir Alegarbes, Philippine Navy retired, Commander Julifredo Noro of the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary, and Miss Cristina Flores Santos, a colleague of mine in Dow Chemical, Mrs. Cristina Corona, widow of former CJ Corona, now deceased, Second Lieutenant Jerome Hakuba and wife Rachel, Lieutenant Chito Mercader and wife Daisy, and Chief Inspector Francisco Basierto, retired PNP. Thank you.
Diyos maray na banggi sa indong gabos na mga kabanwa. Magandang gabi sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig at lalo na dun sa mga masusugid na tagapakinig ni Professor Butch Valdez. Siyempre kayo po ay nakikinig sa himpilan pa rin ng RMN DZXL 558 po sa talapitan po ng inyong mga radyo. At siyempre sabayan niyo po kaming napapanood sa pamagitan pa rin ng Facebook RMN News Nationwide, the sound of the nation. By the way, happy listening nga pala kay Archbishop Oscar Cruz, gayon din sa lahat ng mga nangangalaga ng Bataan Nuclear Power Plant, lalo na sina Engineer Mauro Marcelo, sila Ma'am Corazon Baluyot, at syempre Reynaldo Punzalan. At gayon din kay Mr. Manalo at di ko pwedeng kalimutan si Roy Pahe ng National Power Corporation, lalo na yung mga kasama niya sa SPAG, no? At happy listening din kay Pilar Kabakungan, yan from Isabela, Merly Berlaan din ng Women's Peace Federation, gayon din kay Verica. Of course, happy listening Verica Monte, yan, isang Russian na na-meet ko during sa isang event. And of course, happy listening kay Fred Habon, dyan pa rin sa San Francisco del Monte, Bulacan. Kay Tita Marina Argumido, yan, mga kasamahan ko dati sa Department of Agrarian Reform. At of course, kay Cory de la Cruz, nanonood siya sa pamagitan pa rin ng Facebook. Kay Manang Pearl Gonzon, happy listening po sa inyo. And syempre sa lahat ng mga taga-Bagak at nagbalayong, yan, dyan sa pa rin sa Bataan, yung mga kaibigan ni Professor Butch Valdez at syempre yung mga taga-Penelco at Bagak Rural Bank. Happy listening po sa inyo. Sa lahat ng mga magsasaka natin mula Luzon, Visayas hanggang Mindanao, lalo na sa grupo ng National Confederation of Irrigators Association. Happy listening po sa inyo. At yung ilang mga, Sir Butch nga pala, no, yung iba ay walang pasok dahil doon sa may magaganap na rally, transportation rally po, transport group po tomorrow po, no? Oo, transport strike, yan, kaya medyo may mga lugar po o mga sa Bulacan I heard na nagsabi na po na walang pasok sila. Well, sa Quezon City abangan natin kasi medyo meron din, malalaman natin yan agad-agad mamaya, no. Anyway, sa lahat ng ating mga patriotikong Pilipino, patuloy po kayong makinig sa amin at sama-sama po tayong manindigan sa katotohanan nang hindi po tuluyang mawasak ang ating lipunan. Kathy Cruz po ng Save the Nation Movement.
Sir Butch at sa lahat ng mga nakikinig at nais ko lamang na muli siyempre dagdag ulit na congratulations doon sa ating mga mandirigma dyan sa Marawi. At mukhang ilang metro kwadrado na lang yung natitira tatapusin. And hopefully wala na madagdag na casualty sa ating mga
may mga hostages pa silang hawak di ba?
So yung ating mga Rangers, mga Marines, Air Force men and Navy SWAG na nakadeploy dyan. At of course yung mga infantry battalions and pati yung mga cannoneers, yung mga pati yung mga tankero dyan, yung hawak ng mga armor, no? Na lumalaban talaga ng husto dyan. Of course pati yung mga women soldiers natin na nandyan nakadeploy. Sana
meron palang nakita ko mga combatants na women tayo.
Andun sila.
Meron na.
Tatapang.
So we are congratulating them, no, for job well done. At sabi nga ni Presidente, walang victory party because lahat tayo talo doon sa pangyayari, no. At anyway, to boost the morale of our mandirigma diyan sa lugar na yan, we just congratulate them for and also batiin ko si Noni
si Noni
si Jen Mariano, of course si Herbert si Herbert ngayon dito, meron na naman importanteng lakad si Rick, tapos si Gary Bonifacio, si Lady Ann Lady Ann, saka ibang mga nakikinig dyan, saka sa Association of Alliance of Former Marines Incorporated under kay Major De Villa, saka ibang mga kasamahan dyan. So good evening sa inyong lahat.
Okay, good evening po sa lahat. Ito po ang katipo nyo si Virch Bido mula po sa Save the Nation at binabati natin kabot sa marami-rami ito, no? Mga nagpadala ng kanilang mga mensahe sa ating Facebook accounts at mga nag-text na rin. At maging mga nagpapadala ng mga liham, no, dito sa studio. Ayan, Kabots, binabati natin sina Mr. Manuel Ortiz Lopez, Lisa Solano, Pascua Manen, Imelda Lapitan Alejo, si Macalinaw Junior Rongabilia, Fernando Mupas, Rodrigo Soto, Ariel Figueroa, January Lily Nicolas Goodale, si Tom Diaz, si John Mata, of course, at maging sina Mr. Carlos Del Rosario Jr., Alfredo Ramos Soriano, si Mr. Restituto Zenzon, si Mr. Cesar Jimenez, Rod Suarez, Mr. Roberto Almonte, Mario F. Olay, at si Mandy ng Quezon City. At syempre, ang mga katipo natin na laging sumusubaybay, no? At mga CNG natin, no? Sina Lawrence, sina PJ, at ang kanilang pamilya, si Mr. Alan Arroyo, si Benny, si Namalu, si Ani, at napakarami pang iba. At may pahabol pa yata si Gati. Of course, si Ma'am Saida. Ayan. Magandang gabi po at sama-sama po tayong matuto.
Okay, ang ating pong katipunan text ay 0917-964-8818. Ang ating pong guest caller later in about 30 minutes ay walang iba kundi ang ating kaibigan na si Mr. Mike Billington, who will be calling us from direct, I think, from Washington, D.C. or Leesburg, Virginia. No? Si Mike Billington. So, he will be calling at approximately 8 a.m. Kaya kung meron po kayong mga katanungan, kung pwede, i-text nyo na habang maaga at sisikapin po natin mabasa para sa kanya, no? At mabigyan din po ng sagot yung mga katanungan ninyo, hindi lang yung amin po dito. 0917-964-8818. Ang hotlines po natin, 882-2374, 882-2376, at 882-2378. We are live on Facebook. Ang ating pong account ay
RMN News Nationwide, the sound of the nation.
RMN News Nationwide, the sound of the nation. Nasa Facebook po tayo. Ulitin ko po yung katipunan text natin kung meron kayong ipadala na tanong na gusto ninyong mabasa natin para kay Mr. Mike Billington. 0917-964-8818. If you check into our website, larouchepac.com, marami po kayong matututunan dyan. larouchepac.com, larouchepac.com. And our email address, larouchephilippines@gmail.com. Okay, at this juncture, we'll ask Harry to do the honors again to read to us ito pong pledge ng Citizen National Guard.
Thank you. For the information of everybody, we're still working on the translation of the pledge to Filipino. Hindi ganun kadali but anyway, tutulungan daw ako ni Bert at ni Cathy. So anyway, tonight, I'll read first the same pledge in English, and allow me to also state that we have a website. This is www.citizennationalguard.com, and we have an email address which is citizennationalguard@gmail.com. Our CNG or Citizen National Guard numbers are 0916-638-4075, 0919-439-2918, 0932-422-9099. Now, as I start, let me read the title. This is the pledge to defend the country, the people, and support the President by the Third and Total Force of the Republic of the Philippines, or the Citizen National Guard. Whereas we are a people born free with a sovereign country to plot our destiny as a nation, having won our independence with the lives and blood of our forefathers. Whereas we have undergone the pain to fight for our independence many times before, to seek our place as free citizens in the world. Whereas we have realized that to be free, independent, and sovereign, we as a people must learn to stand up for our rights, and if need be, to fight, and be prepared to even sacrifice our lives to uphold what is truly ours, and for our children, the future generations yet to come. Whereas we as Filipinos and free citizens know that our existence must be in harmony as equals with our co-citizens of the world, but more especially that we must and never will be subservient to any country anymore. Whereas, in order to be free and independent, we must acquire the means to coexist with any country or people of our choice to be in harmony with. Whereas, in order to fulfill the dreams and aspirations of our country and people, we have chosen for ourselves to elect a leader of our country and people, one in the person of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Whereas the final birth, growth, and maturity of a nation of Filipinos will require the inculcation of patriotism, love of country and people, the creation of a Philippine ideology, leading to the establishment of a culture where a united Filipino people, encompassing all regions and religions, will contribute to the fulfillment of a dream, long envisioned and desired by our forefathers. Wherefore we come now to rise, a nation comprised of citizen soldiers, once and forever, regardless of sex, age, and calling, committed to be loyal Filipinos who will support, follow, and defend the country, the people, our president, and the future generations of Filipinos yet to be born. We, who have sworn to defend our country as fighting men, once and forevermore, pledge to continue to support and follow the lead of our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and will gladly offer to our last breaths our lives for our country and people. So help us God. We pledge further that we will face all threats against our country, people, and our President Duterte, whether internal or external, in order that our republic will forever remain free and sovereign, and will not allow our patrimony to be subservient to any power or country, with or without any intent to control or dominate us. These threats, whom we pledge to denounce, destroy, and eradicate forever, presently defined as the illegal drug and gambling syndicates and cartels, the local treacherous traitors who are out to destabilize our country by conniving with the black states of any foreign intelligence agencies and their allies, any and all terror groups purporting to be of any religious sect or affiliation, being utilized by external and internal enemies of the state for regime change, the oligarchical culture of greed, which have contributed in the rise of extreme poverty, and their close allies in the banking system, subservient to the machinations and manipulations of the Khazarian bankers, which have imposed a tight leash on our foreign exchange to include the unrestrained flow of unlaundered money, and last but not the least, those who have exchanged their loyalty for money by way of graft and corrupt practices, whether in the civilian or uniformed services. The graft-ridden justice system, which has mitigated and prevented the provision of justice to the people, the legislature, whose many members have taken advantage of their positions by growing into dynasties, who steal from the coffers of the government and rob the taxes paid by the people. And finally, we especially mention, criticize, and denounce former presidents and leaders who have failed the Filipino people for having cheated and committed fraud in their respective elections and absconded the resources of the country. Last but not the least, we denounce totally and absolutely and call for the abrogation of the Visiting Forces Agreement, or the VFA, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or the EDCA, and the EPIRA Law, or the Electric Power Industry Reform Act, which have lowered our honor, our standards of living, and prestige as a people and as a republic. We now, soldiers of the republic, retired, active, and reserve, do solemnly pledge, once and for always, to affix our names, to commit our honor, and dedicate our lives for our country, our people, and President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. We do so now declare our pledge of fealty, herewith, with our signatures. We now call on all soldiers of the Republic from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Philippine National Police, the Philippine Coast Guard, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, the Bureau of Fire Protection, all reservists, and all who are members of the militia, formal or informal, from all corners of the country, regardless of age, sex, and creed, and close ranks, to rally behind the flag of our country and our duly elected leader and President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang Pilipino. Mabuhay ang Presidente ng Republika ng Pilipinas na si Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh. Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
Pride with Fabcon. Ituloy ang bango with pride.
Ang bango-bango, ang bango-bango, ang bango ng detergent ko.
Sa pabanguhan ng detergent with Fabcon, ano nga bang mas gusto? Ayon sa research sa Metro Manila, halos 80% ng mga misis mas gusto ang bango ng Pride with Fabcon kaysa leading brand even after 24 hours. Dahil ang Pride may tuloy bango microbeads para sa bangong tuloy-tuloy buong araw.
Tuloy-tuloy bango.
Kaya misis, tuloy na sa Pride with Fabric Conditioner.
Tuloy-tuloy bango ng Pride with Fabcon ko.
Ituloy ang bango with Pride. Pride with Fabric Conditioner, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Panatilihing masaya ang paglilibang. Ang paglalaro sa kasino ay para sa may edad 21 pataas lamang. Magtakda ng oras at limitahan ang gastos sa paglalaro. Huwag magsugal kung nalulungkot. Huwag hayaang makasira ng buhay at pamilya. Para sa impormasyon ukol sa responsible gaming, tumawag lamang sa hotline 521-0957 o bisitahin ang www.pagcor.ph/regulatory.php. Isang mensahe mula sa Pagcor. Keep it fun. Game responsibly.
Okay, balik po tayo dito sa ating katipunan. Ito po ang inyong katipunan si Butch Valdez. At kakatapos lang po basahin ni Harry, ito pong pledge ng Citizen National Guard.
Sir, pwede mo nang bumate, humaba.
Meron daw nakalimutan batiin si
Happy listening nga pala kay Wilbert Lamarca at syempre sa kanyang mother. Mula pa yan sa Bulacan. And of course, sa ating masipag din na principal na si Dr. Agapito Lera na yan, sa Justice Cecilia Muñoz Palma, dyan pa rin sa Payatas, Quezon City.
Okay. Okay, inantabayanan po natin ang tawag ni Mr. Mike Billington. Matagal nyo na po siyang naririnig dito sa ating programa. No? Every now and then, we're able to ask him to wake up early in the morning to give us a call from there. No? Kasi po, it's about, right now it's 7:30 in the morning. I don't know where he's going to call from the office or from his house. No? But at any rate, marami pong may babalita sa atin si Mr. Mike Billington hinggil dito sa mga pangyayari na napaka-importante po sa buong mundo. No? Pangyayari po sa Amerika tungkol kay President Trump, no? At kanilang mga posisyon hinggil dito sa mga duruan na ginagawa ng Amerika at ang North Korea. No? North Korea is threatening again to test a nuclear bomb in the Pacific Ocean this time. No? mabigat po yan, yung Pacific Ocean. Alam niyo po yung Pacific Ocean, nandyan na yung Hawaii, no? Nandyan na yung Guam, no? Nandyan na din yung, tayo na rin, meron din tayong Pacific Ocean side sa east, no? Eastern side of the Philippines, no? At binantaan naman sila ni President Trump, no? Now, alam nyo to, itong mga back and forth threats na nangyayari, no? Nakakatakot po to dahil one mistake, no? Sasabog na yan at hindi lang po dalawang bayan ng mag-aaway dyan, no? Malamang it will spark a third world war, no? And nobody will win that. Let's see what Mr. Mike Billington has to share with us in as far as this is concerned, that kung ano pang mga developments, no? Dahil kuminsan hindi po natin alam kung umiinit ba ang sitwasyon o palamig na, no? May yung tension ba na agapan na ba o patuloy ang tumitindi ang mga contending parties dito.
Well, Kabot, una, nais ko lang puntasan itong naging pahayag ng Pangulong Duterte kamakailan, na kung saan sinabi niya, Kabot, itong nangyari nga sa Marawi, no? Na kung saan ay may mga politiko na at mga drug lords or narco politician din ang sumusuporta at pumupondo rito. At naglabas nga siya ng matrix doon, Kabot, pero pinilit na hindi pakita lahat, pero ang lumabas na pangalan, I think yung napatay na si Mayor Parahinog, no?
Parahinog.
So anong sasabi diyan, Kabot?
Well, it was expected na ganyang klaseng posibleng mangyari, na itong mga maute, no, mabibigyan ng pondo ng mga drug syndicates dahil ang kalaban nila pareho din, no, si President Duterte, no. Gugustuhin siyempre ng mga drug syndicates na tumuloy at lumaki pa ang aksyon ng mga terorista, no. Dahil hindi naman sila lulugi diyan sa mga ganyan, at lalo pong nahihirapan ng presidente sa paglaban sa mga iba-ibang mga paksyon na kalaban ng bansa. Katulad po ng madalas nating sinasabi, itong mga paksyon na ito, no, there are basically five enemies of the state, no. Number one is these terrorist groups that are supposed to be ISIS. Hindi porque matatapos na yung Marawi, tapos na po yan. Huwag po kayong maniwala na tapos na po yan. Marami pang kapabilidad yung mga yan, manggulo at gumawa ng mga pang-destabilize ng buong bayan. At hindi lang kailangan sa Marawi yan. Pwede po dito sa Makati, sa Manila at sa iba-iba pang lugar ng bayan. Pangalawa po, eto na, lalawak na rin yung gera laban sa mga komunista. Nagbigay na ng pahayag ng utos si President Duterte na bobombahin na yung mga kuta ng mga headquarters ng mga komunista na kung saan nalalaman ng militar, no? At gagamitan na sila ng mga rockets, no, para bombahin kasi gera na po to, no. Pangatlo, siyempre yung mga drug syndicates tsaka drug pushers, drug addicts, no. Meron pong gera na nangyayari laban sa droga, no. At itong mga drug addicts, sana nga mag-surrender na at huwag na silang tumuloy pa sa kanilang Ang normally naman, ang lumalaban ay yung mga drug pushers kasi pag nahuli na sila, mawawala sa kanila yung kanilang bentahan ng drugs, no? At siyempre, kinakailangan lumaban sila. Kung hindi, pag sumurrender sila, natatakot sila, napapatayin din sila ng mga drug syndicates. Kasi yung mga drug syndicates daw, meron mga tauhan sa polisiya, no? At yung mga nasa pulis, sila pa ang papatay doon sa mga nagsusurrender na drug addicts, no? Bakit? Siyempre, para hindi na sila ma-link dito sa sistema ng drugs ng droga. Siyempre, kasama na rin diyan ang kalaban ng Estado, yung mga politiko na sangkot sa destabilization, no? Sangkot sila sa pagpopondo at panggugulo ng sa iba-ibang lugar, no? Para bumagsak na nga ang regimen ni Duterte, no? Alam niyo na yung mga politikong yan, palaging nasa TV kung ano-anong ilinalabas. Yan, si Trillanes, ngayon si Moca naman ang pinapag-initan, no? At yung mga iba, maski na napurnada yung rally nila nung September 21, sige pa rin sila, no? Sa paglilinlang sa tao, no? Sinasabi, ang balitang-balita po, linalangaw yung kanilang rally, no? Pero ang pag interviewin mo sila, sabi na, euphoric daw ang kanilang sitwasyon dahil napakarami daw, dinumog daw ng tao yung rally nila, no? Well, whatever it is, ang naalata ko lang dito sa mga ABS-CBN tsaka yung mga pag kumukuha ng video, yung mga mainstream media, no, sa kanila, ginagawa nilang panning shot tsaka wide angle shot. Kasi yung wide angle po, nagmumukhang marami yung tao. Pero pagdating daw dito sa mga nagrally naman na sumusuporta kay Duterte, ang kinukuha nila yung close-up shots, no? Yung mga makikita mo lang sa screen mo, mga 4 o 5 tao. Ay, nakakatuwa eh. Halata po eh. Pero nevertheless, whatever they do, whatever they say nowadays, no? Every time they attack the president, the popularity of the president goes even higher, no? Every time they say he has done something wrong and he's a killer, the popularity of the president even goes higher, no? That's a phenomenon, no? So kasama na nilang itong mga in-recruit nilang mga foreigners, no? Mga human rights kuno, no? Yan sila Calamard, mga tauhan ni George Soros. Alam mo po si George Soros, may mga perang pinapasok yan dito para sa panggulo, no? Lalong-lalo na para sirain yung tinatawag natin na war against drugs, no? Kasi po si George Soros is the number 1 advocate of legalization of drugs, no? Gusto niya yan mailagay sa mga commodities para maibenta sa mga stock markets tsaka sa mga Wall Street, yung mga ganyan, no? At malaking pera ang kikitain niya dyan. Basta illegalize mo yan. Legalize means hindi na crime to manufacture it and to sell it and to use it, no? That's what legalization is. And they said, we can get more taxes from them and so on and so forth. But it does not talk about how these kinds of drugs are destroying the societies, no? And this is precisely why we are defending the population against them, no? It's a war, no? Now, yan si George Soros, siya rin ang may-ari ng Smartmatic, no? Itong chairman nila na si pangalan ng chairman nila?
Lord Malloch Brown.
Lord Malloch Brown. tauhan lang po ni George Soros yan. No? Yan, Smartmatic, maski saan mo tingnan, mga mandaraya yan. No? Talagang mandaraya. At meron silang kakuntsaba, ito nga si Andres Bautista ng Comelec. Nahuli na nga, no? Lumabas na nga yung mga dokumento. Tapos may nag-file ng impeachment sa kanya sa Comelec. Pinalusot naman siya ng Congress. Nagtataka pa ba tayo kung bakit papalusutin ng congressman yan, no? Siyempre, lahat sila nagbigay sa Comelec para siguraduhin na hindi sila matatanggal sa pwesto o para siguraduhin na sila ang lalabas na halal ng representante ng mga taong bayan. No? Kanya, lahat yan, nasa listahan ni Andres Bautista yan. So kung nasa listahan ni Andres Bautista yan, pag na-impeach si Andres Bautista, ilalabas yung listahan na yan, disangkot lahat sila. Napurnada tuloy ang kanilang mga posisyon. No? Kanya pinalusot po yan. Ang nakakalungkot, wala pang kilusan. Wala pang kilos ang taong bayan hinggil dito. Ang kalaban po natin dito talaga, itong si Andres Bautista, dahil sangkot nga siya dito sa dayaan. Pero kung proprotektahan sila ng kongresista, edi accomplice na po yung mga kongresistang yan, di ba po? No? Dahil pinoprotektahan na huwag siyang ma-impeach. He was being nabasura daw yung impeachment process dahil daw technicality na it was not sufficient in form, no? Wala pa yung substance pero form. Pero yung substance, nandun na lahat ng dokumentong tawag dito, ebidensya, no? Pero napalusot siya dahil daw sa form. No? Alam niyo po, nakakalungkot. No? Itong mga mga kongresista na nagtulong-tulong sila na matanggal yung Chief Justice Corona. At lahat na ng depekto dito sa kanilang paggagawa ng pinalusot nila. No? Ngayon, ito, kakuntsaba nila si Andres Bautista, papalusutin nila. Dapat po wag natin payagan to at gumawa tayo ng paraan para panindigan po natin ang sovereignty ng ating bayan. No? Ito pong mga taong to, no, ay linapastangan ng ating konstitusyon at ang ating independence. Ang ating pong sovereignty sa pagpipili ng mga leader ng bayan, no, dapat sagrado po yan. Huwag nilang guguluhin o papalitan. Mukha pong lumabas, nagbebentahan, nagbibilihan, no, para lang makaluklok itong mga tao para mailagay sa poder. Huwag tayo na pong papayag ngayon. Lalong-lalo na meron tayong presidente na ninindigan sa integridad ng ating republika. So, hingin po natin sa presidente na gumawa ng paraan, kasama tayo dyan, susuportahan natin para hindi makalusot etong si Andres Bautista. Ewan ko kung nasagot ko ba yung tanong mo. Yung tanong mo dito sa drugs, no? Kasi po marami pong kalaban niya. Andiyan na po yung mga yellow tards, kasama na po diyan enemies of the state. Tapos ang yung parang sinasama lahat ito, yung weaving them all together. It's a Central Intelligence Agency. Kasi yung CIA po, yung kanilang plano na gamitin ang ating mga base militar para maging launching pad ng mga raketa, mga missiles na nakatutok sa China. ay hindi medyo naantala dahil ang presidente ayaw niyang ipagpatuloy yon, no? Ngayon, itong mga CIA gustong ipagpatuloy yan. Maski na yung presidente nila gustong mas mahusay ang kanilang relasyon sa China tsaka sa Russia, yung CIA, iba po ang pag-iisip nila, no? Sabi nila yung presidente dyan, 4 na taon lang no? Kami matagal na dito sa CIA, kanya ang gusto nila tutukan para labanan na ngayon sa gera. Wala pong mananalo dyan, lalong-lalo na talo tayo dyan dahil magiging battleground ng Pilipinas at nakataya po ang 100 million lives ng mga Pilipino kung papayag tayo sa mga ganyan, no? Kaya mas mabuti, umiwas po tayo sa malawakang gera at manap tayo ng paraan para mailipat ang tensyon ng mundo buhat sa malapit sa gera versus papunta sa development, papunta sa kaunlaran. Ito po ang madalas na sinasabi ng presidente ng China at saka ng presidente ng Russia, no? At sumasang-ayon din naman yung mga ibang presidente ng mga ibang bayan, no? Ngayon, siguro abot ng mga 70 o 80 na bayan ang sumusunod sa kagusto yung proposal ng China at Russia. Pero hindi mo pa rin maaalis na ang may hawak na mga sandatang nuklear ay Amerika, Inglaterra, no? Mga Aleman, no? Russia, China, India and Pakistan, no? Ito po, at saka France, no? Ngayon, alyado ngayon yan. Meron ng positioning na nangyayari, no? Pag nag-upakan po ito mga to, hindi po natin malalaman kung mangilan-ngilan lang ang mabubuhay na tao sa sangkatauhan, no? I don't think more than 100,000 people will populate the world after a World War III. Natabayanan po natin yung caller natin, si Mike Billington. Siguro he'll be coming in a couple of minutes. You have anything to add?
Alam mo, Kabots, nung nilabas ulit ni Pangulong Duterte itong Matrix, no? Nagtatanong pa rin yung iba, Kabots, yung mga nailabas niya last time, no, last year. Lalong-lalo na yung 5 general. No? Yun ang unang-una niyang nilabas noon. Ngayon, ano na kaya nangyari dyan, Kabots?
Yun ang hindi natin alam, no? Either wala na sila o natamimin na nakalabas na sila ng bayan, no? Hindi natin alam, and that's what we should ask the president. And yan sila General Bato. Sana ba itong sila General Garbo, no? At sino pa yung iba? Si Loot yata andyan pa yan, di ba? Sino pa yung iba, natatandaan mo ba, Ari? Hindi na. But there were 3 other generals, police generals that were supposedly involved. Of course, they denied it. Of course. Meron ka bang sinabi lang pangalan mo sa anunsyo, siyempre, you will deny it. But I don't think the president was going to say anything like that without any evidence. No? I'm sure the evidence is available. Now, he's just probably looking for a way how to do this dahil mabigat po ang drug war. Alam niyo po, hindi lang yung mga pulis, hindi lang yung mga drug syndicates. Kasangkot dito, iba-ibang levels ng sangkot na rin dito, pati na rin yung mga negosyante. Sangkot na rin daw, meron nagsabi sa akin na ito pong mga door-to-door businesses, yung mga naghahatid at nag-i-import galing sa ibang bayan na nakaboxes, no? na supposed to be balikbayan boxes. Pero ang laman po dyan, mga droga. Tapos nakasakay po yan dito sa mga containers na hindi na binubuksan dahil merong tara. Yung 29,000 pesos, ganyan, lusot na yung container na yon. Pero in one balikbayan box, you can have billions of pesos of drugs. No? Tapos, hindi lang yon na importation or exportation of drugs na itong mga door-to-door companies are involved in. Pati na rin yung domestic, yung buhat sa Manila, naka-box, no? Dadalhin mo dito sa courier service, itong door-to-door nga, no? Nadadalhin nila yan doon sa Cebu o sa Mindanao o from Mindanao, dadalhin sa Manila. Wala nang inspection yan. Wala nang nag-i-inspect ng mga aso o ano. Basta domestic, no? So ang bilis-bilis po na nililipat itong mga shabu, no? Ginagamit nila itong mga door-to-door businesses. And they are involved, no? Hindi pwedeng hindi nila alam kunwari na hindi kasama yon. Alam po ng mga may-ari niyan tsaka operators ng mga businesses na yan. At matagal na po nilang ginagamit yan. No? So, hindi lang yan. Mga bangko. Mga bangko kung minsan, pag mag-export ka o mag-import ka, kailangan i-report mo sa bangko kung ano yung ini-import mo from abroad ng mga droga. Ngayon, kung minsan mahalata ka ng mga tao, pero babayaran mo yung mga bangko. So, they are complicit in the importation or exportation of drugs. So, the banking system is involved. So, if you want to fight a war against drugs, it must be comprehensive. No? It must be comprehensive. Okay, we have our friend from the United States of America, probably calling from Washington or from Leesburg, Virginia. Mr. Mike Billington is on the line. Good evening, Mike.
Hi, Butch.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening. Very good, thank you. How are you?
Well, we're living in interesting times, and every day is. I suppose you as well are holding your breath about what to hear about next in the United States.
Right.
But I was just mentioning earlier, aside from discussing these drugs, that we're not too sure about whether things are cooling down or heating up in the Korean Peninsula. At one time, it might look like it's cooling down, and another time it's supposed to be heating up. And could you enlighten us on the situation, Mike?
Well, it's obviously a very dangerous situation. I'm sure everybody there has been reading in your newspapers, like in ours, about the two children throwing stones at each other, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
The only problem is these are thermonuclear stones. So even Mr. Lavrov, the foreign minister in Russia, said that what's going on between Trump and Kim Jong-un is like a childhood schoolyard fight.
Yeah.
But it's true. This is very dangerous. The problem is that Trump has within his administration some people that he had to compromise with when he became president. He was not, as you know, a politician who had a long history of collaborators in foreign policy and economic policy. So when he came in, he had to make compromises with the existing institutions, many of which were terribly corrupt. It was obviously many hangovers from the Obama intelligence community, who had set up this insane campaign against Russia, based completely on lies, just like the lies that got us into the war in Iraq and Libya and so forth. This one even worse because it lies about the other super power, which has the potential of starting a war between the U.S. and Russia. Well, obviously, Trump, when he was campaigning and when he got elected, is committed to being a friend of Russia, just like he's now committed to being a friend of China and to being part of the new Silk Road.
Right.
But there are people in the administration who have convinced him he has to be tough on the countries that that we're in conflict with. But the Korea crisis was also set up by the previous administration, by Bush and then by Obama. The situation with Korea had largely been solved back in the 1990s when they had what's called the Agreed Framework, where they shut down their nuclear power plant that was producing weapon-grade material in exchange for us building them another nuclear power plant, but one which did not produce weapon-grade material. And things were and there were other aspects. It was going quite well, but when Bush and Cheney got elected, they shut that down. They preferred a conflict. And then the Chinese pushed something called the six-party talks, which also brought us to a point of a solution. But that, too, was shut down by Bush and then by Obama, who said that it's not enough that North Korea does not produce nuclear weapons. We don't want them to have a space program either. If they try to send satellites into space, then we will call that an attempt to build missiles to attack us, which is insane. No country can be told that they cannot be part of the space age. But that's what happened, and that's why that was shut down. And then, of course, the North Koreans are not crazy. They saw what happened to Iraq. They saw what happened to Libya when they gave up their nuclear program. And, in fact, this is exactly what Mr. Lavrov said day before yesterday in response to this Korea crisis. He said, it's not what happened to Iraq, the destruction of Iraq based on lies, even though they gave up their weapons of mass destruction, and the destruction of Libya, turning the whole Middle East into warring terrorist factions, where the U.S. literally allied itself with al-Qaeda, supposedly our enemies in the war on terror, but we allied ourselves with them in order to overthrow regimes that were not working according to our dictate, and created chaos, absolute hell throughout the Middle East, including the refugee crisis, which is now tearing Europe apart. So Korea knows that. They're not stupid. And what Lavrov said was, this does not justify North Korea building nuclear weapons. This does not justify that. But you have to understand that that's what they are looking at. Now, let me say something else, though, Butch, because all the headlines are about Korea. Trump's speech at the UN was attacking the Rocket Man. They're on the brink of war. But the speech actually was an extremely, it was what Helga LaRousse calls a tale of two speeches. Because while he gave these extreme attacks on Korea, North Korea, and Iran, he also gave one of the most inspiring speeches to be heard by an American president in many, many, many years.
This is the speech in the United Nations?
Yes, the speech at the United Nations.
Okay, go.
In which he made these attacks on Korea and Iran. But what's left out of the press coverage is what he actually said about how we can no longer tolerate the division of the world into warring states. We need to work together. I'll read just a few sentences.
Yes, please.
People aren't going to read this in the newspapers. He said, we meet at a time of both immense promise and great peril. It is entirely up to us whether we lift the world to new heights or let it fall into a valley of despair. We have it in our power, should we choose, to lift millions from poverty, to help our citizens realize their dreams, to ensure that new generations of children are raised free from violence, hatred, and fear. He said, you know how he always talks about America first.
Right.
But what he said about America first is, quote, as President of the United States, I will always put America first, just like you, as the leaders of your country, will always and should always put your country first.
Mm-hmm.
He said, strong sovereign nations let diverse countries with different values, different cultures, and different dreams not just coexist, but work side by side on the basis of mutual respect. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example for everyone to watch. And there's much more. I won't read more. But it reminds us here in America of a speech by John Quincy Adams, which was very similar, saying we do not go abroad looking for enemies to fight. And what Lavrov said about this speech, this is the foreign minister of Russia, said it was a remarkable speech. Quote, I think it's a very welcome statement which we haven't heard from an American leader for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's basically saying regime change is over. The British imperial-style policy of America under Bush and Obama is over. We want to work with Russia, with China, on building the world, on a world that's based on progress and development. Now, how does that square with threatening to destroy North Korea and Iran? Well, it doesn't. It's a contradiction. But the fact of the matter is that the world is ready for the kind of speech Trump gave about building a new paradigm. They are increasingly in America recognizing that all of the lies of the empire, saying the free world, the free Western world, is you'll be happy and prosperous in the free Western world, and it's only those dictatorships in the East that are holding the world back, and we have to oppose them. Well, the world is different now, as you know very well, Butch, and your listeners. We now are in the age of the new Silk Road, which Mr. and Mrs. LaRouche were very much instrumental in bringing into being over the last 30 years. The rest of the world no longer has to pay obedience to Washington in order to get their debts rolled over, while they get nothing for development, because the Chinese and their friends are now coming in and saying, we will help you become a modern industrial nation. We'll build railroads, industries, water projects. There's a new paradigm, and therefore they no longer have to accept the dictates from Washington and New York and London. But the same is true within the United States. The population no longer believes that our nation is the greatest and living here is the greatest thing in the world. They recognize that we have horrendous unemployment. We have the worst drug crisis in the history of our nation. We have our infrastructure is completely collapsed. We don't have any high-speed rail. Our nuclear power plants are being shut down. Our roads and bridges are collapsing. And what just happened in these last couple of weeks, these several disasters, the hurricanes and the earthquake in Mexico, have demonstrated that we are totally unprepared for even so-called natural disasters, because we have allowed our infrastructure to be completely decimated in favor of the Wall Street people who are only interested in short-term, quick money through speculation, and stopped investing in the real economy. And now Americans are waking up to that. That's really why Trump got elected, and it's why he still has support, despite the fact that he gets tied up sometimes in this sort of bravado attack against these other countries. But it's a moment of great, great potential. The response of the American people to these hurricanes has been really quite inspiring. Millions of people despite the fact that they tried to make Trump look like a Russian agent to get people to be against him. And when that didn't work, they tried to say he was a racist and a white supremacist. And that didn't work, mainly because he responded to these disasters like a true leader. And he inspired millions of people to come out to help Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico and now Mexico as well. And you have these pictures of sort of white working class types in their boats, even with Confederate flags on the side. But they're down there in Texas helping black and Puerto Rican families out of their homes, saving their lives. People coming together, no matter what race, what religion, to work together to meet a disaster. Well, we're looking at a disaster in general, of a collapse of the European and American economies. The financial system is falling apart. Our infrastructure is collapsed. And that big disaster requires the same kind of response, people coming together around what Helga LaRouche calls the new paradigm, which is characterized by what China has done with the new Silk Road. And the attempt to divide the world into us versus them, which, of course, in Southeast Asia, you know very well, back in the old days, it was CETO. You remember CETO, the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization?
Yes.
Remember that, Butch?
Yes, we call it SEATO.
Is SEATO you called it?
Yeah.
So, this was the attempt to say that just because we have the Philippines and Thailand under our control, we can divide Asia between the free world and the godless communists. That fell apart. And when that didn't work anymore, they created this crisis in the South China Sea, basically trying to say, you still have to be on our side against the Chinese competing for territory. Well, that fell apart because of your country, because of Duterte's election. And he said, this is insane. We don't want to be an enemy of China. We can work out our differences. But for God's sake, let's all work together for development. And the Chinese have demonstrated what they call the win-win approach. Let's bring the human race together around development.
Great.
So we're all very proud of what's happening in the Philippines in terms of ending this attempt to use that crisis in the South China Sea to keep Asia divided, because with the United Asia, we have the potential of getting Donald Trump to join with Xi Jinping and with Putin and building what, in fact, is a new world based on peace, on development, and the dignity of man. And that's where we stand today, in a crisis that could be a disaster but has the potential of being a true revolution in the human spirit.
Okay. Ver has a question from my caller.
Yeah, Mike, this is
Hi,
question texted by Ed from Bulacan. He said that, is it just okay for North Korea to launch missiles directed to the countries South Korea and Japan? Or why did North Korea do that?
Well, you said that launching missiles towards Korea and Japan. Well, all you have to do is look at a map and see that if North Korea is going to have missiles, and if they're going to test those missiles, they really have no choice but to send them in the region of Korea and Japan. Is it okay? Well, the United Nations passed these resolutions saying not only that they cannot build nuclear weapons, but that they're not allowed to have a missile system. The same thing is going on in Iran. We had this agreement, which was one of the few things that Obama did that was decent, where they agreed to not build a nuclear weapons program. They didn't have one anyway, but they agreed that they would allow inspectors to make sure they never built nuclear weapons. But it had nothing to do with missiles. They certainly have a right as a nation to have a missile program for their defense and for a space program, because, of course, they're practically the same thing. And the same thing is true in North Korea. Like I mentioned before, we were close to a solution in the Korea crisis in 2005 when the six-party talks signed an agreement, and it was working okay. But then the North Koreans sent up a satellite. And Bush and then Obama said, well, you can't have a satellite. You can't have a space program. We're going to go to war against you unless you give up your space program. This is called technological apartheid. The same was done to Iraq. The same is attempted against Iran, and the same is against North Korea. And like I said, you have to just be honest. As Mr. Lavrov said the other day, he said, look, the North Koreans are not suicidal. They're not going to use their missiles or their weapons against anybody because they know that they would be blown off the face of the map. You don't need Trump telling them that. They know it. The point is they will get the same treatment as Iraq and Libya unless they have what they believe to be a threat that they could do damage, serious damage, if they get attacked. So this is deterrence. This is their defense. Do I approve of that? Well, it doesn't, it's not a question of approval. Both sides have to come to an agreement along the lines of what Mr. Lyndon LaRouche has been fighting for a long, long time, which is that North Korea could be part of a development process called the New Silk Road, right, by building railroads and pipelines through North Korea that would connect South Korea with Russia, with China, and eventually with Europe through the New Silk Road. And from the very beginning, we talked about the New Silk Road going from Busan to Rotterdam. In other words, going through North Korea. Now that proposal was ready to go back in 2001 and 2002 under Kim Jong-un. It was sabotaged by Bush and Cheney. So this is a time where the potential for a development solution, a peace through development solution, is within our rights. Do they have the right to send their missiles off? Well, every nation has a right to develop its science and technology. It's too bad that you have this kind of strange belligerent system in the North, but you have to understand their motivations, that they're not crazy, and that they are not going to give up their nuclear weapons or their missile system unless the West says, we will stop threatening to obliterate you, and we will actually sign an agreement where both sides are assuring the security of the other. This is urgent, not only for Korea's sake, but for the sake of the human race. And this is where Mr. LaRouche and his role in Korea has always been crucial and continues to be crucial in order to bring about that kind of a solution.
Okay. Another question from Harry.
Hi, Mike. Harry Gonzalez here.
Hi. Hi, Harry.
Well, I was listening closely to what you were saying, and I think what you were saying really is closely in agreement to the thoughts that I have in my mind. And my personal concern really is that just like President Duterte, President Trump, they both have a similar problem. See, they've inherited a lot of mistakes that were done by previous administrations. And in the case of President Trump, I think the major concern here is that the irate position of North Korea truly started when former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton caused the dispatch of 60% of the U.S. Navy into the Pacific. That was an act of threat because I believe, and that was a very clear pronouncement, I believe that the question that should be raised is, why would the leadership of the United States get themselves into a peaceful continent like Asia and dictate their philosophy of geopolitics and pronounce their acts as if they are the policemen of Asia? What gives the United States the right to be militarily present in Asia? That act was a threat, and I think that is the reason why North Korea is acting, because history has shown that whatever wars were created by the United States were all done outside the sphere of the United States. They were all done in other countries. And the countries that were destroyed were not the countries, wasn't the country of the United States of America.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%. Of course, they have no right. They have a right to help build nations the way China is with the Silk Road, but they don't have a right to declare that they have the power and the right to invade and destroy any country they wish, even though those countries are not threatening them. Because,
Absolutely.
of course, Iraq and Libya did not threaten the United States in any way.
Absolutely.
They were not supporting terrorists, quite the opposite. They were the
Absolutely.
leading anti-terrorist forces in the Middle East.
Correct.
But let me make one addition to what you said, which is that the pivot, Hillary's so-called pivot that you referred to, the encirclement of Asia, has nothing to do with North Korea. It was all aimed at China. North Korea was a convenient target to justify the British policy, which the U.S. has followed really since the death of Roosevelt and the killing of John Kennedy, but especially since the election of the Bush family and the Obama family. We have become basically a British imperial power, using our might, our military might, the way a puppeteer uses his puppet
Yes.
from London,
Yes.
in order to prevent the alliance between the East and the West. The British Empire was always based on divide and conquer, not only territorially, not only Israelis versus Palestinians and Shia versus Sunni and free world versus communism, but fundamentally East versus West. It can keep Russia and China as the enemy image in order to keep the world divided fundamentally between East and West.
Yes.
Now, in Asia, that meant that this emerging China has to be destroyed. You might remember Paul Wolfowitz, the
Yes.
guy who personally, with George Shultz,
Yes.
oversaw the destruction of the Philippines, the
Yes.
destruction of the Marcos administration. It was Shultz and Wolfowitz who orchestrated the EDSA coup, trying to make Philippine people think that they had overthrown Marcos, when in fact it was very carefully orchestrated by Shultz and by Wolfowitz.
Yes.
Well, Wolfowitz also is the author of what's called the Wolfowitz Doctrine from the early 1990s, which said that now that the Soviet Union has fallen and America is, quote, the only superpower, the responsibility of America and our friends in England is to make sure that no country or any group of countries ever even reaches the point of strength where they can challenge our superior imperial position.
Correct.
Now, this is pure empire.
Yes.
This is not America. This is not American, and it's not American. This is an artificial British system that's been imposed upon us. So they want North Korea to have nuclear weapons. It was not a mistake by George Bush and Dick Cheney to stop the so-called general agreement, the general framework, because they want North Korea to be a danger, to have nuclear weapons. They know that's no real threat to the world. But it justifies the attempt to isolate China, to encircle China with nuclear weapons, with anti-ballistic missile systems, with a massive naval force, submarines full of nuclear weapons, all supposedly because we have to defend against rogue nation North Korea. Well, that's a lie. This is part of the British effort to keep the U.S. in conflict with China, to keep the U.S. in conflict with Russia. This is the only way to understand this North Korea issue, is that it really is not even about North Korea. It's about the British Empire's intention to keep these rogue nations in place, just like they helped create Hamas in the Middle East, because they wanted a radical force that they can use to justify maintaining the division of the world. So this is a moment where we can break the empire itself by bringing the United States and Russia and China together around a development perspective, and in that way ending once and for all this imperial, not only divide and conquer, but the threat of war, and of course, in the age of thermonuclear weapons, a war that could be the end of civilization.
Okay. Next question from Colonel Adel Handayan.
Yes, Sir Mike. This is a little bit of a shift from the discussion on North Korea. It's about the pronouncements made by the U.S. ambassador to the UN, to the United Nations, Madam Nikki Haley. regarding what she told, what she told the United Nations Assembly, General Assembly. I think just very lately, she said that the Philippines is suffocating. We must give President Duterte the space to run his nation. We must respect their independence. It is not in our purview to decide administrative issues for the Philippines. That is the job of the President. And accordingly, Madam Hali elaborated and said, destructive forces have never given the Duterte administration enough space to jumpstart his programs of government. They did not even afford him the proverbial honeymoon period. Now, they have calibrated their plot to oust their movements. And this is just the second year of his presidency. And she called on human rights groups, that includes the UN, to be impartial and not take political sides while dispensing their duties in any particular nation. What's your take on this, Mike? Because if you can have elaboration on this so that our local listeners here will fully understand the position of Madam Nikki Haley is really a call that our president here is just doing his job.
Absolutely. I must admit, Colonel Abel, I did not know that she said that about the Philippines. I had not read her speech. Nikki Haley, as you probably know, is just a wild woman, a fanatic in many ways, who has been the voice of the neoconservatives. She's one of the people I was referring to when I said that Trump had to make compromise. She gets in and rants and raves against Russia, against China. But this is very, very interesting. I'm very glad you brought this up to me, and I'll look it up and make sure we get this into our own publication, because it's clear that Trump understands that the situation in the Philippines is a serious, serious fight against drugs and against terrorism and against poverty. And from the beginning of his administration, he has thought the way Nikki Haley just expressed it. So it's clear that she was told, by either Trump personally or the people around Trump, like Mr. Tillerson, who has the same view, that he had to express this very competent reading of what's going on in the Philippines. I went to a meeting here in Washington with one of the, I can't remember her name, I think it's your Minister of Health, and a couple of other people who were here to discuss the drug issue, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see that U.S. diplomats who on some issues are part of this neoconservative crowd, but on the issue of the Philippines, people like Negroponte, you probably know, and others, were very, very serious about the fact that the Philippines is being destroyed by drugs, it's being threatened with terrorism, and it has the right to work with China. Because there is a growing faction of diplomatic and think tank and academic and business layers in America who recognize that America is collapsing and that we must work with countries on development policies and that we have to respect sovereignty. As Trump said in his speech at the UN, we have to respect sovereignty. Now, that contradicts the way he looks at North Korea and Iran, but, his thinking on that is that these are dangerous nations because of their support for what he thinks is support for terrorism and so forth. But I'm very glad to hear that Nikki Haley expressed what I know Trump believes, which is that the Philippines we have to stop this coup attempt against, and for her to actually say there are destructive forces trying to bring him down, I think is very important. This acknowledges that there are probably exactly the same people that are actively trying to bring Trump down here in the United States, the human rights mafia, we like to call them, who claim to be concerned about human rights but are actually carrying out British imperial policy. Yes. And for her to identify them is extremely important. So I'll look that up and I'll get that into our publication. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Very good. Another question from Ver.
Yeah, Mike. LaRouche PAC has recently produced a video, some weeks back, on the drug addiction as the deliberate policy in the U.S. and in the world, as your book, Dope Incorporated, documented almost 40 years ago, first published in 1978. So I'd like to situate this question, Mike, with the drug war being the important policy of President Duterte. Because a few months ago, when Duterte, or when former President Colombia, Cesar Gaviria, attacked President Duterte's war on drugs, immediately after that, enemies of Duterte's policies, such as the Vice President, followed suit by saying Duterte should look at drugs decriminalization or legalization as pushed by Cesar Gaviria himself and his international organization. So, Mike, can you please expound on that? And what do you suggest to our current administration to strengthen more or to win the drug war?
Well, to be honest, I think I think the Philippines is teaching the United States a lesson on this. That you have to have a ruthless approach to drugs. That you cannot. You have to. The reason you've had no ability to contain this drug crisis in the Philippines is because in the West, the policy of legalizing drugs became dominant under British influence, right? Remember the British fought the Opium Wars against China, who took destruction into China on the basis of arguing that the sale and production and sale and distribution of drugs is an expression of free trade, free market. To try to stop it is destroying the free market, the freedom of banks to do whatever they damn please, like run slavery and run drugs. This was the essence of the British Empire, and it has not changed. What we had under Bush and Obama is a adoption by our presidency, by our executive branch, of a British policy of libertarianism that, in fact, the destruction of your citizens, not the protection of your citizens, but the destruction of your citizens through drugs, through economic austerity, through the destruction of the schools and hospitals and infrastructure, that this is a legitimate policy which is justified by saying this is freedom, the freedom to take drugs, the freedom to have perverse lifestyles. This is called freedom. And this is the way in which the so-called liberal establishment, the British liberalism, libertarianism, has justified political and economic domination throughout its history. And it's still the case today. So we now have a situation where not only has marijuana been legalized, but along with the distribution networks that distribute marijuana throughout the country, you have the same corrupt, basically organized crime networks that distribute the heroin, the opioids that are produced by the pharmaceutical companies in many, many multiples of what's needed for medicinal reasons, because this has become one of the drugs of choice, the pharmaceutically produced opioids, which have now killed more Americans than auto accidents or murders combined every year. Our nation is being destroyed. There's not a community in the United States, a little rural town in Nebraska has the same total disastrous drug crisis that our big inner cities have. There's no way to stop. And I wanted to add that because of this policy in the United States, the people in places like Mexico and Colombia, who in the past fought against the drug trade, have finally given up. In Colombia, they talk about the great peace with the FARC. We finally made peace with the FARC. Well, they didn't make peace with the FARC. They legalized drugs. So they're going to bring the FARC into the fold, and they're going to continue producing cocaine and marijuana and heroin. That's not peace. That's genocide. And it's that policy which, because the U.S., and the argument down in Colombia was, well, the U.S. is legalizing drugs. Why should we fight against the drug cartels here? Why don't we let them take over the government? Which is what Pablo Escobar wanted to do a long time ago. So now they're doing it. So this has to be stopped in the U.S. and in the West. It has to be stopped by a no toleration policy, exactly like Mr. Duterte has launched, where you go after the drug runners, you go after the police and the politicians who were complicit in the drug trade. That means Obama, who belongs in jail, just as Duterte is putting politicians and military and police officials in jail for their complicity in drugs. Mm-hmm. George Soros, of course, is a criminal who belongs in prison. These are serious issues that determine whether or not we're going to have a human race or a degenerating, semi-animalistic race in war and in economic and cultural decay. These are the fundamental issues. So I applaud what you and your group have been doing to defend Duterte's policies, especially with war on drugs. And we here are doing our best to bring that policy into the United States as the only approach, which is the zero tolerance.
Okay, we have the last 5 minutes here, and I have to read to you a question that had been texted in Mike. It says, there are organizations in the Philippines advocating for peace, but when we ask them what they are doing to have peace in every country, they said they are concentrating on developing the morals of every family. They are propagating some kind of religion. They are saying one family under God. Is it right to say that peace can only be attained if there is development in all nations? It seems they are using religion to control the population. What can you suggest to the academe, the youth, and the government who are now listening to truly achieve peace?
Well, Lyndon LaRouche once said to the fundamentalists, he said, "If you love God so much, you should give him a hand." We have to act. We have to act as God's right hand. I mean, we don't accept the idea that all we have to do is have faith and express our belief in a creator, right, and think that this somehow makes us human. God made the human race for a purpose, for a mission. He gave us the creative power of reason uniquely. No animal can even think about the future. Only the human race has the capacity to think about what we want to make out of this world, out of the human race. And that's our responsibility as human beings. It's not just a gift we have that we can use or not use. It's to be truly human and to be truly happy. You know, America was built on the idea of liveness, which is in our Constitution. We have this idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, this is from Leibniz, and Leibniz, of course, who, as you probably know, was also the greatest thinker who tried to unite Europe and Asia. He was the first person to think about a new Silk Road. Mm-hmm. But philosophically, what he meant by happiness is that we are human. We have the creative power to shape not only our own future, but the future of the human race. We can look at today by saying 50 years from now, here's what we should have in the world. And here's what we should be doing on the moon and on Mars. And to get there, what do we have to make? What's our bill of materials? What kind of steel and machine tools and power and so forth do we need? What kind of creative thinking human beings capable of working in that civilization? What is required of our education and our health in order to assure that we have that quality of creative thinking human beings? What do we have to do to make that future, a future that we have clearly in our mind, like no animal can have? So if we don't practice that, if we don't use our talent as the biblical story of the talent, if we don't use those talents to create something beautiful, to create some beautiful music or some beautiful science or some beautiful machine tool for the future, or some beautiful children who have the creative power to do what we could not. If we don't use those talents in that way, which are given to us by the Creator, then we're not being human. And we're not going to be happy. If we're only thinking about what makes us feel good at the moment, then you're going to fall for the idea that we should have legalized drugs and legalized sex with anything you want to have sex with. You know, that there should be a libertarian license, because after all, we're all really just animals, aren't we? You hear this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is human nature, they say. Well, this is not human nature. That's animal nature. And we're not animals. We have this tremendous gift of the creativity of the human mind to appreciate beauty, to let beauty inspire us to create a civilization in which all men and women have the power to develop their minds, become creative, and to truly experience joy, as Beethoven wrote with the Schiller poem on Die Freude, the Ode to Joy. Again, they're not talking about feeling good. They're not talking about sensual pleasure. They're talking about the joy of participating in the progress of humanity for the betterment of mankind. A true harmony of interest based on the common aims of all men, of all races, of all nations. This is a moment of truth for the human race. Are we going to take those great ideas that our forefathers have brought forth and make those the basis for truly creating a new universe, free of war once and for all, free of the imperial divisions of the world, based upon the common aims of mankind, what Xi Jinping calls the win-win approach, but which is more profound than just economic win-win. It's the coming together of the creative powers of great minds and the potential for every single human being to participate in that mutual human creativity.
Okay. Well, Mike, I was going to ask you to give a last-minute message, but I guess that was it. And and it was a wonderful ending to this interview. But of course, we would like to have you as often as we can. I know you're very busy, and we'd like to also offer our condolences to the family and to you in the passing away of your good friend Ron. And we know how valuable he was, not just to you, but also to us, because he knows exactly what's going on, and he shares this information with you. So
good, thank you.
I'll
pass that on to his mother. He'll appreciate it.
Okay. On behalf of the Filipinos and all of your friends here, Mike, thank you very much, and hope to hear from you again.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for inviting me again.
Okay.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mo girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
Panatilihing masaya ang paglilibang. Ang paglalaro sa kasino ay para sa may edad 21 pataas lamang. Magtakda ng oras at limitahan ang gastos sa paglalaro. Huwag magsugal kung nalulungkot. Huwag hayaang makasira ng buhay at pamilya. Para sa impormasyon ukol sa responsible gaming, tumawag lamang sa hotline 521-0957 o bisitahin ang www.pagcor.ph/regulatory.php. Isang mensahe mula sa Pagcor. Keep it fun. Game responsibly.
DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo.
Okay, balik po tayo dito sa ating katipunan. Kakatapos lang po natin makapanayam si Mike Billington. Kaibigan po natin yan. Dati medyo mas madalas ang bisita niya sa atin. Kanya lang nowadays they're all very busy in Washington. No? In effect, trying not to save just the United States, but trying to save the world. No? And participating in everything they can in order to convince the presidency that peace is a better option to war. It's time to read some of the text messages sent to us by our listeners. Their opinions not necessarily ours, but we reserve the right to read them to the public in the interest of freedom of speech.
Okay, first text ngayong gabi ka, Butch. Good evening, Sir Butch. Kuba na kami sa kababayan ng Meralco. Kailan ba tayo magrarally para mabuksan na ang BNPP? Sobra pang mahal ng bilihin. Text po ni Luz ng Quezon City.
Alam niyo po, nabalitaan ko na alam na po ng presidente ang problema natin dyan. Hindi lang yan sa BNPP, kundi sa lahat po ng ating mga infrastructure sa energy. Meron po tayong mga iba-ibang mga kinakailangan magawa, no, para maidiretso niya ang tunay na energy development policy. Pero pasensya lang po tayo na ngayon dahil hintayin po natin dahil mukhang talagang aatupagin ng presidente itong pangangailangan natin ng affordable and reliable and efficient method of energy. Kasama na din po dyan ng nuclear energy, yung Bataan Nuclear Power Plant.
Okay, sunod na text. Good PM. Sana mag-rally din tayo sa September 21 para suportahan ang mga sundalo at kapulisan na lumalaban sa terorismo, droga at lahat ng kasamaan. I-counter natin ang rally ng mga bayaran at
ulul. Sabihin mo, ba't ka natatakot? Yan ang binabasa mo lang. Bakit?
Nahalatang anti-Duterte movement. TY.
Okay, can our Filipinas deuterium at the Philippine Trench be an alternative fuel with the nuclear fusion, PNPP? Si Kuyang Noli Luna.
Alam niyo po, pag sa tamang sitwasyon po ng ating gobyerno, madami na natin pwedeng atupagin lahat yan. It's not necessarily an alternative, but if ever we can explore and exploit that resource, if there is deuterium, then it should add to our capability, not just as an alternative, but it should add to whatever we can generate.
Okay, sunod na text. Good PM Kabuch at mga katipon. Tanong ko lang kay Mr. Mike Billington kung ilan ang mga congressman at senador sa US. Dagdag ko pang tanong para dito naman sa bansa natin. Payag ba siyang manatili sa tungkulin ang mga congressman, senador at mga Supreme Court justices na para sa akin ay puro inutil, corrupt at hadlang sa pag-unlad ng bansa? Mabuhay kayong lahat. Matematyas po ito.
Alam mo, Mr. Matias, pagdating dito sa mga congressman dito, tayo na lang. Huwag na natin tanungin si Mike Billington. Pagdating doon sa mga congressman nila, sila na lang. Dahil alam nila din, mga gago din yung kanilang mga congressman at senador. No? Hindi po nag-iiba itong mga nandito sa atin. No? Kaya lang yung mga atin dito, mas garapal ng konti at mas crude kung kumilos. No?
It was not only Marcos who declared martial law. Nagdeklara rin ng martial law ang Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand for fear of communists' takeover in Southeast Asia because US lost in Vietnam War against communists North Vietnam. Hundreds of thousands Vietnamese boat refugees kinupkup ng Philippines dyan sa 200 hectares Morong Bataan. Vietnamese Refugee Center in cooperation with the UN. Kung masama ang martial law, bakit nakalagay sa mga constitutions?
Okay, sunod na text. Good evening po. Pwede pa ba nakikinig po si Ate Elma Caumeron sa inyo? Hello sa kanya. Salamat po and more power from me.
Good evening po. Ako po ang masugid yung tagapakinig. Pakibati po yung kapatid ko na nasa Surigao, si Roel Relores at hipag ko na si Jerlyn At Kuya Erwin, Ate Jo, June, and Aryan, yung mga friend ko. Toper sa Sotomayor at Lance Mejilla from Jaja Relores ng Barangay Alipit. Yan, thanks po. God bless.
Good PM, Mr. Butch. Sa 30 years ni Marcos sa pwesto, kwentahin ang budget ng Pilipinas, pati na inutang. Gaano kalaki, pero parang kulang pa ang pera ng Pilipinas noong panahon na yon. Konting kwentuhan lang yan ang mga tangang anti-Marcos.
Alam niyo po nung napaalis si Marcos nung 1986, his 1986 budget was 1 billion. 1 billion pesos. Now, after that, I'm sorry. His 1986 budget was 10 billion pesos. Now, after that, ngayon po, ang budget natin, 3 trillion pesos. Alam niyo po ba yung it takes 1,000 billion to have 1 trillion. In other words, yung ating budget ngayon is 3,600 billion pesos. Yung dati 10 billion pesos.
Good evening, Mr. Butch. It seems only males are members of CNG. What about us females? Can we also be a member? As our only qualification is being a Filipino and love of the country.
All citizens are members of the CNG, whether babae, lalaki. So, as a matter of fact, si Mrs. Corona has become a member of the CNG. Tina Flores Santos is also a member of the CNG. And there are other ladies who are...
Marami din mga babaeng kasama dito.
Si Lady Ann, member din. No?
Yung mga GBT? Hindi ko pa alam kung meron nag-apply na. No? Pero...
Well, basta straightforward citizen loyal to the country. Whatever is the race, creed, or sex. Ayos lang.
Okay, sunod na text. Dito po sa bayan ng DRT Bulacan, gubat man po may tuturing noong time ni Marcos pero maunlad ang mga magsasaka. Dito ang kape noon, 1,200 ang per lata na balde. Nang mawala si Marcos, pumalit si Cory, bumagsak ang presyo ng kape. Naging 150 pesos lang ang per lata ng balde. Halos lahat bumagsak ang kabuhayan ng magsasaka. Tunay talagang ang demokrasya kapalit ay kahirapan. Mas mainam pa nung martial law, mas ligtas ang mamamayan kesa ngayon. Text po yan ni Henar Aquino.
Suportahan natin si President Duterte. Huwag nating hayaan na sirain siya ng mga dilawan. Ngayon lang tayo nakakita ng leader na matapang at may pagmamahal sa bayan. Sa katauhan ni President Duterte.
Okay, sunod na text. Good evening, Sir Butch. Lagi ako nakikinig sa inyong programa. Gusto kong maging member ng Citizens National Guard. Wilfred Q. Quintal. Yan.
Okay. Details given. Wilfred Quintal. Okay.
Good evening po, officers and gentlemen. Please kindly research thoroughly the fact that CHR and other allied drug treatment abroad are fully funded, supported by Scientology. Yes. Led by Tom Cruise and the actor John Travolta, Will Smith, and other Hollywood celebrities. Democrats, search on Google Scientology Philippines. You will be surprised they have crawled into Philippine society with the support of Sharon Cuneta, Casey Concepcion, with David Pomeranz. This is reliable info. Kindly dig more. Thanks po.
Thank you. Alam mo yun, Scientology cult yan, no? Medyo weird yung mga yan, no?
Okay, sunod na text. Good PM ka, Butch. Ano po ba sa tingin nyo sa kaso ng pagpuslit ng bilyong halaga ng shabu na kinasangkutan ni Faeldon? Meron ba siyang kinalaman sa pag-smuggle nito o talagang napag-initan lang siya ng mga smugglers at drug lords? Text po yan ni Jay Nara ng Palawan.
Alam mo yung ano yan sa akin talagang gross incompetence, no? If it is a crime to be incompetent, lahat po sila, no, ay incompetent dyan. At kasuhan dapat for gross negligence, no, Gross negligence and incompetence. Ang nagbigay sa atin ng informasyon na meron droga dyan ay ang China, no? Yung China, siyempre, nagkumukuha ng information. Pag nakuha na nila, tsaka lang ibibigay. Kung hindi tayo binigyan ng intelligence info ng China, nakalusot yan no? Nakalusot yan malay natin, baka sobrang yaman na nito mga ito, no? But, kanya lang lumabas yan dahil dito sa intelligence info. Ang nakakalungkot, baka marami pa na nakalusot o marami pa ngayon na lulusot. Katulad nitong sinasabi ko, itong sistema na yung container may tara 29,000 walang bukasan. Naku, ang dami dyan. No? Yung mga door-to-door companies na yan, no? Kinakailangan investigahin yan. Hindi lang yung importation at exportation, kundi yung paglilipat from town to town, city to city dito. Kasi wala ng customs yan.
Maayong gabi. Sana po mayroong regulation ang ating media dahil kahit ang pahinga ni Duterte ay pinapalabas pa. Mabilis ang pagunlad ng karatig bansa tulad ng Vietnam dahil regulated ang kanilang anti-government events. Text po yan ni Nito Sancho ng Victoria City, Negros Occidental.
Okay, sunod na text. Gandang gabi po, Sir Butch at sa mga kasamahan nyo dyan. Ako po, isa sa inyo, tagapakinig every Sunday sa programa nyo. Pwede ho ba maging member ng Citizen National Guard? Ako pala si Andy de la Cruz ng Sapa 4, Rosario, Cavite. God bless po sa inyo dyan.
Okay, Andy.
Hi po, ako po uli si Baby Cavite ng Cavite City. Di ko po nakitaan ng simpati ang Dilawan at CHR sa mga pulis at sundalong sugatan at namatay. Meaning halatang di sila makatao, puro panggap. God bless po.
Sunod na text, good PM Katipon Butch, dapat mapaandar na ang Bataan Nuclear Power Plant bago matapos ang termino ni Pangulong Duterte para guminhawa naman tayo sa mahal na binabayad natin sa kuryente. Salamat po, Willie ng Digos City, Davao del Sur.
Kaya siguro hindi magalaw ng Committee on Justice si Bautista at Morales ay may mga sekreto sila, Kabutch. Text po yan ni Lenin.
Sigurado. Hindi yung Department of Justice. Ang nagpapalusot kay Bautista ang mga kongresista.
Sunod na text, sabi ni President Duterte, mapipilitan daw po siyang magdeklara ng nationwide martial law kung magiging marahas ang mga rallyista sa paggunita ng anibersaryo ng martial law declaration nitong nakaraang Huwebes, September 21. May nabasa po akong isang comment sa Facebook. Sabi niya, babagsak daw ang ekonomiya natin pag na-implement ang nationwide martial law. Totoo po ba yung sinabi niya? Nakaka-apekto po ba sa takbo ng ekonomiya ng bansa ang martial law?
Depende kung martial law ang ibig sabihin kaguluhan, no? Pero natatandaan ko po nung nag-declare ng martial law si Presidente Marcos, for the next 2 years, napakalakas po ng ating ekonomiya. Nagsipasukan po yung mga foreign investment natin because there was supposed to be peace, no? And the conditions for having business was much better than chaos.
Good evening po mga kasama. Di ko po maintindihan mga taong di makalimot sa martial law ni Marcos. Puro human rights, 45 years. Di pa sila makalimot noong 60s. Bata pa ako. Bakit limot na agad ang hirap na inabot ng mga Pinoy? Ang lagim na inabot ng mga magulang natin. Pinupolitika ang martial law ni Marcos. Mabuhay ang National Guard. Text po ni Rodolfo Espino ng Santa Rosa, Laguna.
Okay.
Okay, sunod na text. Kaya lumakas ang loob ni Senator Trillanes, nagpunta agad sa Singapore. Isinama Philippine media para magpa-picture to verify his bank account by using fake account number. Kinagat strategy ni President Duterte para mag-deny si Trillanes. Wala bank deposit sa Singapore, pero kung ang Philippine government magpa-verify by using the true bank account number of Senator Trillanes na Singapore banks, kaya huli ka na, Trillanes. Meron ka bank deposit sa Singapore. Saan galing ang pera? Bakit wala sa salin?
Okay, sa ngalan po ng ating mga katipon dito sa ating katipunan at sa mga gagaling na staff ng DZXL Radio mo nationwide. Kami po ay pansamantalang nagpapaalam at nagpapasalamat na sinamahan nyo kami ngayon ng ora de peligro ng ating bayan at ang buong mundo dito po sa ating katipunan. Hanggang sa linggo pong muli mga katipon, 7:15 to 9 p.m. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mo girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
Saan ka makakahanap ng maximum fluoride protection na 50% mas mura? Unique toothpaste na. It's your toothpaste at your price.
Isa, dalawa, tatlo sa toothpaste na nito. 4, 5, 6 nagkamali sa pagtikim.
Ayon sa research, 6 out of 10 Filipinos cannot tell the difference between Unique and the leading brand.
Leading brand ang akala, Unique toothpaste pala.
Gaya ng leading brand, ang Unique nagbibigay din ng maximum fluoride protection, fresh breath at healthy gums at approved din ng Philippine Dental Association. Pero ang Unique up to 50% more affordable.
Kaya sa Unique ka na mag-atas sa bulsa.
Unique, it's your toothpaste at your price.
Unique toothpaste. Gawa ng ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
That portion was brought to you by Bygone. It's good to be tough. Essie Johnson.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mo girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh. Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mo girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
Maiinit at sariwang mga balita kasama sa inyong paggising. Mga pangyayaring dapat mong malaman. Gising na! Balita na! Unang balita sa Unang Radyo. Unang balita sa Unang Radyo. Alas 4 ng madaling araw hanggang alas 6 ng umaga. Lunes hanggang Sabado sa DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo. Ang programang nagbabantay sa mga OFW sa kanilang mga karapatan at benepisyo, lumalaban sa mga mapang-abusong recruitment agencies at kumigising sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno para sa mga bagong bayani. Bantay OFW at ang batas. Kasangga ng mga nangangailangan ng mga payong legal. Kasama si Princess Javier Castro at si Attorney Demeter Huerta ng Public Attorney's Office. Bantay OFW at ang batas. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 3 hanggang alas 4 ng hapon sa DZXL 558. DZXL News Break.
Magandang gabi mga kasama, narito na po ang mga balita sa oras na ito. Nagbabala ang Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board sa mga makikiisa sa tigil pasada bukas. Sabi ni LTFRB Board Member Attorney Aileen Lizada, posibleng suspindihin o kanselahin ang prangkisa ng mga operator at driver ng jeep na sasali sa malawakang kilos protesta. Pinaalalahanan din nito ang mga driver ng jeep na huwag takpan ng kanilang mga plate numbers tuwing nasa kilos protesta. Lalabagin kasi ng mga ito anya ang kautusan ng LTO o ng Land Transportation Office na dapat ay nakalintad sa publiko ang plaka ng mga sasakyan anumang oras. At yan po ang mga balita sa oras na ito. Ako po ang inyong radyoman May Abando ng DZXL 558 Tatak RMN.
Ang pinakamaiinit na balita, maririnig mo na sa buong bansa. Ito ang Sound of the Nation ng DZXL. Ang bagong tunog ng balita kada alas 7 ng umaga sa DZXL 558. Sound of the Nation ng DZXL. Balita sa mundo, sa iyong nasyon at sa iyong rehiyon. Balitang mahalaga sa iyo ngayon. Ito ang bagong tunog ng impormasyon. Sound of the Nation ng DZXL. DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo. Maaasahang public service. DZXL 558. DZXL Music and Memories.
Lonely table just for one, in a bright and crowded room, while the music has begun. I drink to memories in the gloom. Though the music's still the same, it has a bittersweet refrain. So play the song the way it used to be, before she left and changed it all to sadness. And maybe if she's passing by the window, she will hear our love song and the melody. And even if the words are not so tender, she will always remember the way it used to be. Friends stop by and say hello, and I laugh and hide the pain. It's quite easy till they go. Then the song begins again. So play the song the way it used to be, before she left and changed it all to sadness. And maybe if she's passing by the window, she will hear our love song and the melody. And even if the words are not so tender, she will always remember the way it used to be.
Come along with me to my little corner of the world,
ito'y hindi magbabago, pagkat pag-ibig ko ay tanging para sa'yo. Huwag sanang mangyari, matukso ako ng sandali, pagkat ang tukso ay madaling nagwawagi. Kay rami ng winasak na tahanan, kay rami ng matang pinaluha, kay rami ng pusong hinugatan o tukso, layuan mo ako. Di kayang sabihin na ako'y di madadarangin, pagkat ako'y tao, may puso't damdamin. Ngunit kung kaya ko, ako ay hindi padadaig sa tuksong kay rami ng winasak na damdamin. Kay rami ng winasak na tahanan, kay rami ng matang pinaluha, kay rami ng pusong hinugatan o tukso, layuan mo ako. Kay rami ng winasak na tahanan, kay rami ng matang pinaluha, kay rami ng pusong hinugatan o tukso, layuan mo ako. Kay rami ng winasak na tahanan, kay rami ng matang pinaluha, kay rami ng pusong hinugatan o tukso, layuan mo ako. Kay rami ng winasak na tahanan, kay rami ng
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm so sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. should have said and done. I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you.
Such a fool to hold you, to seek a kiss, not mine alone, to share a kiss the devil has known. But then would come the time when I would need you, and once again these words I'd have to say. Take me back, I love you. Pity me, I need you. I know it's wrong, it must be wrong, but right or wrong, I can't get
DZXL Music and Memories.
That time check was brought to you by Shield Bath Soap. Galit sa sakit, may malasakit.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Huwag ma-stress mga bes! Mag-Kala Detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
Isang araw, nag-text si Jeff kay Ruby.
I love you, send.
Pero dahil malabo ang mata niya, naisend niya kay Rudy.
Oh no!
Get your eyes checked at EO Executive Optical for state-of-the-art facilities and expert eye care.
Uy, Jeff! Love you too, bro!
Love your eyes.
If you love your eyes, come visit EO Executive Optical today for expert eye care. With over 100 branches nationwide to serve you, EO has been voted by consumers as a Reader's Digest Trusted Brand 2016-2017 Platinum Awardee.
Hi girls! Si Jody Pulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Mag-Kala Detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo. DZXL Music and Memories.
We were fools, you and I. Now we know it. We stood still as the days moved along. Love was ours, but our eyes didn't show it. Suddenly, we can see we were wrong. All of a sudden, this world's yours and mine. All of a sudden, water tastes like wine. Now every moment there are songs to sing. All of a sudden, everything. Let's not talk of all the times we've been lonely, but let us speak of the times we will know. From today, I will live for you only. Wish I'd said all these things long ago. All of a sudden, this world's yours and mine. All of a sudden, water tastes like wine. Now every moment there are songs to sing. All of a sudden, everything. La 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 la.
I step down from the train, and there to meet me is my mama and papa. Down the road I look, and there runs Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they'll to touch the green, green grass of home. The old house is still standing, though the paint is cracked and dry. And there's that old oak tree that I used to play on. Down the lane I walk with my sweet Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Then I awake and look around me at 4 gray walls that surround me, and I realize, yes, I was only dreaming. For there's a God and there's a sad old portrait. On and on we'll walk at daybreak. Again I'll touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they'll all come to see me in the shade of that old oak tree as they lay me neath the green, green grass of home.
Why does the sun go on shining? Why does the sea rush to shore? Don't they know it's the end of the world? 'Cause you don't love me anymore. Why do the birds go on singing? Why do the stars glow above? Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when I lost your love. I wake up in the morning and I wonder why everything's the same as it was. I can't understand, no, I can't understand how life goes on the way it does. Why does my heart go on beating? Why do these eyes of mine cry? Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when you said goodbye. Why does my heart go on beating? Why do these eyes of mine cry? Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when you said goodbye.
Mr. DJ, can I make a request? Pwede ba yung love song ko? Mr. DJ, para sa akin ito. Sana ay okay sa'yo. papatugtugin mo. Thank you uli sa'yo. Kahit luma na ang aming awit, nais ko ring marinig. Kahit man lang sa'king alaala, ay makasama ko siya. Nasaan man siya, mayroon mang iba, ito'y para sa kanya. At sana'y nakikinig siya, naaalala kaya niya ang love song namin noon, na niluma na ng panahon. Mr. DJ, salamat sa'yo, sumasabay din ako sa love song namin noon, na niluma na ng panahon. Mr. DJ, can I make a request? Pwede ba yung love song ko? Mr. DJ, para sa'kin ito, sana ay okay sa'yo. Nasaan man siya, mayroon mang iba, ito'y para sa kanya. At sana'y nakikinig siya, naaalala kaya niya ang love song namin noon, na niluma na ng panahon. Mr. DJ, salamat sa'yo, sumasabay din ako sa love song namin noon, na niluma na ng panahon. Mr. DJ, Mr. DJ.
Hello, Mr. DJ? Hi. Pwede ba ako mag-request? Yeah, yung bang kanta gusto ko? Oo, thank you.
Mr. DJ.
I'll never let you see the way my broken heart is hurting me. I've got my pride and I know how to hide all my sorrow and pain. I'll do my crying
DZXL Music and Memories.
That portion was brought to you by Bygone. It's good to be tough. Essie Johnson.
Hi girls! Si Jody po ulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh. Hi girls! Si Jody po ulit to. Bago matapos ang araw, tapusin na ang pagtupi ng labada. Wag ma-stress mga bes! Magkala detergent. May light and fresh fragrance that lasts all day para ang fresh mag-girl. Kala Detergent Floral Fresh.
DZXL 558. Nangunguna sa inyong mga radyo. DZXL Music and Memories.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances we'd be sharing love before the night was through? Something in your eyes was so inviting, something in your smile was so exciting, something in my heart told me I must have you. Strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night, up to the moment when we said our first hello. Little did we know love was just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away. And ever since that night, we've been together, lovers at first sight, in love forever. It turned out so right for strangers in the night. Just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away. Ever since that night, we've been together, lovers at first sight, in love forever. It turned out so right for strangers in the night.
pick one to stay? Two lovely flowers, I don't know which one to choose. Two lovely flowers surrounds my heart with fear. Two lovely flowers, one is red, the other is white, wondering what the other will say. Should I pick one to stay?
You followed me to Texas. You followed me to Utah. We didn't find it there, so we moved on. You went with me to Alabama. Things look good in Birmingham. Didn't find it there, so we moved on. I know you're tired of following my elusive dreams and schemes, for they're only fleeting things, my elusive dreams. You had my child in Memphis, then I heard of work in Nashville. Didn't find it there, so we moved on to a small farm in Nebraska, to a gold mine in Alaska. We didn't find it there, so we moved on. Now we've left Alaska because there was no gold mine, but this time only two of us moves on. And now all we have is each other and a little memory to cling to. And still you won't let me go on alone.